Wow, this is quite an honor. Thank you, Al, for the wonderful induction, and Brian, sorry that you couldn't be here, and Cindy, that was very nice message that you left for Misty and I. This is such an incredibly humbling experience. You know, you play a sport that you dedicate a lot of your life, a lot of sacrifice, but it's because you want to do it. It's like you have so much passion for what you do that it doesn't seem like such an incredible feat. It's what you do. You invest so much into it. And so it's not by my merits alone. Something like this couldn't happen by yourself. So I'm really grateful that I was chosen to be a part of this great family of international people who are represented in this Hall of Fame. If my mom were here, she would say that this all started when I was just 6 months old. As she picked me up, I raised up with a pillow. So I should have been actually, if that was the count, a weightlifter, right? And I can say for my daughter, she started doing squats actually when she was 4 months. As my sister would hold her in her lap, she would just get going, squat, 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 squat. And like from the ultrasounds, you know, I think she started just flexing from the pictures, you know, so I think we have something in the future. I don't know if it's going to be volleyball or what she's going to do, but definitely a great athlete, and I'm just thankful to have been in a position to not only pour into her now and continue to, but into so many other athletes and kids who I've been able to influence, and hopefully a lot more into the future. This has been a journey that I could never have imagined. I mean, if you told me that waking up doing sit-ups and push-ups with my mom, watching videos with the women in leotards, you know, doing step-ups, that it would lead to this, I would never have believed it. I was, you know, quite imaginative. I loved playing outside. I was a happy kid. You know, we didn't have a lot, but we had exactly what we needed. I was raised in a single-family home, single-parent home. We had love, we had faith, we had prayer, and I had a hard-working mom. You know, she worked 2 jobs. I saw that. She never complained. She had a lot of passion and compassion and love and vigor and energy. And that's what I grew up to see. And she really set my spiritual and faith-based foundation to be able to make it through difficult times, difficult challenges, and not complain about it, just make the best of that situation. So, and she always told me that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me, and I still believe that, and I try to encourage people to do that too, to always work 100%, and things are going to work for your good. So Mom, I feel your presence. I lost her a little more than a year and a half ago, so I feel her presence here. I saw her on a trip that I took earlier this year. A video was released from the Z team. When I was on my way there was purple on the plane. The airline was Virgin Air, and the initials were VS, Vera Scott. And then I get to the hotel, there's a lot of purple. Purple was her favorite color, so I'm wearing purple today too. And I get to the hotel, there was purple. On my way back, there was water served that was Aquarius. My mom was an Aquarius. I'm like, Mom, gosh, you're everywhere. So, I mean, I really appreciate that she's still with me, you know, in spirit. I'd like for you guys to join me in celebrating my dad's 70th birthday weekend. Thank you. You know, there are many different family dynamics, so thank you, Dad, for being present. Thank you for, in theory, like paying for and supporting my club season. You know, back in the day, we had to wear those awful briefs. And my first tournament that I had to play in, my dad was not having it. He was like, nope, she's not playing. You know, I saw being on this team for the first time to not playing even in the first match because of this, you know, going back and forth with my dad. Well, the officials did make an exception for the first one. I was able to wear my shorts over, but after that, he had to adjust. But, you know, and another story I remember was what parents always know. Like I thought my mom would say, you know, your name is going to be in gold. You're going to be highlighted. And, you know, she had such a vision for me, you know, and parents always seem to have knowing about those things. My dad like during my track meets and different things, he would always have his camera there. And then he would want to interview me and talk to me. And I'm just like, get away, Dad. I just want to be here in my little spot. I was incredibly shy as a kid, but he knew obviously something that I need to be prepared for that. So thank you, Dad, for this annoying preparations. But it has paid off in helping me where I am today. Although, and I also want to thank him for, as many of you know, the Great Flood of Louisiana recently happened. I do live in Baton Rouge, and he's been really great at helping me with moving forward in that, it was just like a rainy day. Oh, actually, I don't know if I ever actually announced it out. Monaco did tell me that he retired me in the third Olympics, after my third Olympics, and I reminded him a couple of times of that. It's been really hard for me to actually say the words retired, because there's always some type of connection to it. And if you didn't know from my extended hiatus from the team since 2014 and not playing professionally, I'm officially retired from international play. And although I will keep the doors open for playing in the PVL, I have had opportunities to play with that. But and it was just a rainy day when I left. I now work with a company for financial marketing. And it was just another day. I left home. I set some appointments. And it was about an hour's drive away. Took my daughter to my niece's house. And maybe 2.5 hours later, on my way back, I get a phone call from my sister. And she says, hey, I just wanted to let you know, don't worry. Natalie and the kids with her 6-week-old baby, they had to evacuate. They're walking into floodwaters. I was like, what? So any parents out there could realize the panic that I had. And anybody who knows me, not only the panic to get back and save my child and help rescue the family was there, but the thought of my daughter walking in that nasty sewer flood water, I was just like different emotions, like either the panic to get there and also to regurgitate at the same time. I was just like, but I did manage to get there. My plan was for us to go stay at my house, which is the refuge for Katrina. We housed like 17 family members at one point. We made it through Gustav. We made it through all these different storms, and then here we are, threatened to be flooded out. So I said, well, if the water gets beyond the fence, then I'm going to have to go. Long story short, the house was flooded. What I'm thankful for is my daughter and I made it out safe, and it was great how this volleyball community has shown up for me. It's a very difficult time, but you do what you can control, right? So I just want to thank Taiba for making the initiative to say, hey, this is what's happened with Danielle. Let's see how we can help her, and how many people, not only here but across the world, has responded, not only in donations but with prayers and with kind words and encouraging words. And I just, wow, you guys have been great. And to be here before you now, it just makes life a little easier, because that's what it's about. How we can help each other, impact each other in a positive way. It's just ironic that how I've been able to impact people through the years. It's just come full circle when things have happened, in a way that I've been impacted. So I also want to thank the family, my family who is here. As you know, without family support, you can't accomplish anything easily. So I want to thank my sister. She's small in size and stature. I always call her my little big sister. She's 5'6", but she's big sister in heart. She taught me so many lessons. My brother who's here, and Aretha, my cousin who are here today, and my friend Flavia who are here to support me. I want to thank the coaches who I've played for all over the years. They announced that there are so many coaches that I played for, and I think part of my longevity was just being coachable, just taking little pockets of each piece of what a coach had to offer to me and adjusting to that. So I thank them for that. But I want to go back to my sixth grade coach. So I actually wasn't on the team in the sixth grade, but I was starting to develop that want to be a part of something. Even though I was shy, I think I kind of disguised it in doing all the different sports: volleyball, basketball, softball, track and field. And so my first experience with a team was as the water girl of the team. We couldn't play in sixth grade, so just to be a part of it, I, joined the team. I was like, I'll help in any way, and I was thrown in. So I want to thank Coach Alexandra. I want to thank Coach Ray, Gloria Brooks from high school, Bonnie Hunter. She was my coach in high school. She was really a person who went out of her way to make sure that if I could make a practice or had challenges in getting back and forth, she went out of her way to make sure I got there. I want to thank Ruth Nelson. I would walk from my house or jog over 2.5 miles to get there to do, I don't know how many jumps on a 2000 shuttle. Afterwards, she would take me back, but that was like the kind of coach she was, anything to add value to help me be a better player. She introduced me to one of my first Olympians that I met, and Rose Majors, and also Penny Lucas came out, and they taught me how to do the roll. So that kind of a roll on the ground. So that kind of helped me get that idea that maybe this was something that I could do as well. So going through to the 2000 Olympic Games, well, actually I want to go to my college, Brian Gimerlero. There's so much I can say about him, but I want to thank him for being to his word. Like, he had to come and visit my home twice. I was so conservative, had parents that were like, no, you're staying home. I almost chose to go to Georgia because it was closer. Everybody was in agreement with it, but Brian and Debbie came back down and they convinced my parents to let me go so far, and he said, I will take care of you while you're away from home, and he really kept his word in that. And he's like, and on top of that, in order to play in 5 Olympics, it might have been 5 Olympics, I'm not sure if that was the promise, but you have to come to Long Beach and in order to achieve your goals, and it was. And one of the drills that I'll never forget is the Mine 1 warm-up. Like, we would do that every day, and it was such a boring and seemed like none meaningful drill, but it taught so much timing, rhythm, communication with your teammates, discipline, because if you didn't do it, it was at 9-1, so to describe the drill, it's you have to pass the ball back and forth with your partner to 20, then you have to move midcourt, then you have to move to the end court, then you have to do that all again with the other partner, back, short, middle, long, and deep. Then you had to set it and do it over and over and over, and if you didn't do that, you had to start over again. That's one of the drills that stayed in my mind, but it taught you so much about discipline and timing and rhythm. So it's a drill that that kind of sticks with me, that it's boring and it seems like it's not meaningful, but it really teaches you a lot about teamwork and working together. To Debbie, who's here tonight, I want to thank you for the discipline and love you showed us through enforcing little things and details that we might shy away from and think that maybe you don't like us, but it was all in love and helping us grow. I realized that years later. And also, like, when I would come back struggling with a different setter, this lady is so amazing. I'm like, David, I need you to help me feel good. I just set me a few balls. And I would leave there feeling like I was on top of the world, like I was the best hitter. So thank you for that. I want to thank Dietrich Hollins, Mike Hebert. He, many years later, said that he was the one who pushed that I would make my first USA, then called B Team event. And so I want to thank him, Dietrich Hollins, Denise Carlette was one of those first coaches. There's so many people here. I'm trying to speed through so that I don't hold everyone up. Let's see, who else here? Oh, as well as, so moving on into my 96. I'm trying to go year by year so that I don't leave one out. So in 96, I had a 5th year to play basketball. And at that point, I could have had an opportunity to be an All-American. And Terrace Esquivas was like, well, you're invited to come, but either you come now or you don't come at all. And I want to thank you for that kind of demand that I come now, because being a 5-time Olympian is much better than having that possibility of being an All-American. So I want to thank that whole staff with Dan and Kim Ortega, Aldous Burzin. After those games, I tried out for the women's NBA, and I quickly retired after my third attempt. I was I was named to the Portland Fire training roster, but after being released right before the first games, I was like, okay, volleyball is definitely my sport. And Mick Haley was the coach in 2000, and he opened me with open arms. It was a different era because I come from until that point where you played all the way around. You know, I was used to celebrating in the backcourt, digging balls, attacking back row, and then came the libero position. And I resisted it with everything I had. Stacy has a more unique and funny story about it, but literally, I would ignore her. I'd serve the ball, I come in, it was time to serve again, and I'm like, and she's like, Danielle, and I'm like, serve, please. And so I want to apologize to Stacy for those hardships I gave her early on. I came to realize that she was actually my better half in the backcourt, a great player. As well as Tara Cross Battle. I want to thank her for allowing me to convince her to come back. I think in 2000 we may not have qualified had she not rejoined the team. In 2004, Toshi Yoshida was the coach, so I want to thank him for believing in me. Although we had a shortcoming in terms of our results, it wasn't because we didn't train and prepare for it, as well as Kevin Hembley and the entire staff. In 2008, Long Ping, congratulations to her again. She was a coach for us. She just won the 2016 gold medal. She helped us to win our second silver medal since 1984. So I want to thank her and Sue Woodstra. I had to deal with her calling me old lady. Players wanted to already call me granny. After already having been retired, I'm like, wow, how am I going to overcome this age factor? She would ask me, how are you doing, Danny? Really thinking that I wasn't physically well, but praise God, I was. And praise God that she actually really believed in me. Like, sometimes I didn't understand her tactics or her way of thinking, but everything she did was to make each player think about the game and be better. I want to thank the 2012 staff for all the no's and not yets, the pay cut, for the saying that, okay, you made this roster, you've improved, but you're not good enough. Like, that little hope, not saying no, but not yet, gave me enough drive and determination to keep going. And so I want to thank the staff for that. Paula Weissoff, who was intricate in making sure that there were drills that were equal for everyone to have an equal opportunity to show their best. Lindsay Berg was like, I'm really enjoying playing with you, and I felt that from her, and that really helped me. Courtney Thompson, she was there on the third court with me, and boy, did we work hard to get to the first court. I remember after I first had my daughter, I was on the third court, and they're like, you're not going to get to the first court. I was like, okay. But by the third day, by the last 2 days, I was invited to the first court, and it was so exciting to have that accomplishment, just having that encouragement with the team. There are so many players that I enjoyed playing with. To name a few would be Elena Oden. She was from '96. I thought she was just an amazing middle player. Yoko Zedelin, Robin Amo Santos of Ghana, Kim, Andrea Moraes, a few foreign players, Gisele. Thanks to all of my teammates. I'm here because of you, the coaches, I'm here because of you. You guys made me better, as I hope that I left an impression and made you better as well. I have to thank the fans all over the world. They're so animated. There's a few that are here tonight, so animated and just loving and supportive throughout my career. The officials who dedicated their time to make sure that, you know, they did their best in the games, as well as all of USA Volleyball. I mean, you guys provide an opportunity for all of us to excel and be our best. So to all the sponsors, to Doug, Bill, to Al, to as well as Carrie Klosterman, who endured my singing behind him as we traveled on the bus. You know, we all think we can sing, but he never complained too much. But I would sing different songs as we get ready to prepare for our games. Also to thank Carla Hall and Bill Kaufman, June and Cindy, just to name a few. I want to thank the Hall of Fame for having us here. You guys have all done an amazing job of preparing and greeting us and welcoming us to this great family of the International Hall of Fame, and I'll forever hold you dear to my heart. So thank you.